Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, my guest is Mithil Thakur, who's the CEO of Velar, which is a Bitcoin Layer 2 project that's built on Stacks. Mithil, how are you doing today? Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Ricardo. Thanks a lot for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to have you here. Mithil, my first question to kick off the interview is for people that aren't familiar with Velar. Can you give us like an overview of what the project is?
For sure, Ricardo. So, Velar is a DeFi liquidity protocol on Bitcoin. Our vision is to build user-facing DeFi infrastructure with Bitcoin finality. How we achieve Bitcoin finality is by using Bitcoin L2s. So, Bitcoin L2s provide us the programmability, while Bitcoin L1 provides us the secure layer with proof of work consensus to finalize transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. So, we utilize both of them to build user-facing DeFi apps like AMM, perpdexes, and other sophisticated suite of DeFi products where people can come and use their Bitcoin onto our apps and earn yield on their Bitcoin holdings.
You just mentioned a few different kinds of apps that you're already creating for this DeFi ecosystem. Can you kind of explain what the apps are and what they do?
Sure. So, Ricardo, we started building Velar like 16 months ago in February of 2023. Since then, even after 16 months, Bitcoin DeFi is as a ecosystem is very nascent. It's very new. The infrastructure is yet to be built. So, what we did with Velar was we divided Velar's entire vision into four versions called Velar Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So with Velar Dharma, last year we built a basic suite of DeFi products where we brought for the first time Uniswap-inspired AMM onto Bitcoin, where people can come and swap their favorite tokens on Bitcoin. They can put their Bitcoin in liquidity pools of the AMM, and they can earn yield on top of their Bitcoin holdings. Of course, it comes with some risk and impermanent loss, but there are pros and cons to it. This year, 2024, our focus is to build a more sophisticated suite of DeFi products where we build world's first perpetuals derivatives exchange on Bitcoin. So this is where it gets interesting, is because for the first time ever in history, people will be able to use their Bitcoin holdings in Bitcoin holdings and use it as collateral and trade leverage onto different liquidity pools and tokens available on Velar Artha, the perpdex. But what this allows is for the first time for people to use their Bitcoin as collateral in a non-custodial way while keeping their Bitcoin in the native secured Bitcoin environment. They don't have to bridge their Bitcoin out to any other chain like Ethereum or Solana with a completely separate security budget, or they also don't have to trust a centralized custodian. So this is our focus this year.
So people will be able to trade with leverage on like a decentralized exchange then?
Yes. Velar Artha is world's first perpdex on Bitcoin, which we launched as of last week on two different Bitcoin L2s. One is Bob, built on Bitcoin, and one is BitLayer. And we are also planning to launch it on Stacks as soon as probably August or September.
Okay, amazing. And you guys are operational on Stacks, and you just mentioned build on Bitcoin and BitLayer. Are there other Bitcoin L2s that you guys are also operational on?
As of now, no, but we have plans to integrate some other L2s. So Velar's vision is to become gateway to Bitcoin DeFi. So how the user experience and user journey will look like is that anybody who's holding Bitcoin, doesn't matter if it's a retail user or a institutional user, they would come to Velar, and Velar will have a suite of DeFi products. All will have different use cases, different ways to earn yield on top of their Bitcoin. Of course, everybody will have their own different set of yield, which comes with different set of risk. And Velar will also have different Bitcoin L2s integrated on its backend. So for user, it will be a seamless user experience and seamless journey. But we will have multiple L2s integrated. So we plan to integrate more L2s in future as soon as they go live.
When you say people can earn yield on their Bitcoin, are you guys like envisioning like a whole like Ethereum style DeFi ecosystem with like loans and all this kind of stuff that we see, like NFTs, DEXs, like all DAOs, like all this different like decentralized stuff that we see people earning yield within DeFi, like in Ethereum?
So honestly, the answer is much more than that, because right now, probably for next 1 or 2 years, Bitcoin DeFi might look very similar to Ethereum DeFi. Because why? Because a lot of the things were tested on Ethereum already over last 6-7 years of the evolution of DeFi on Ethereum. So one great thing that Ethereum did was a lot of experiments were done on Ethereum of, for example, how to run AMMs, which are the most secure mechanisms and most scalable mechanisms to run perpetual derivatives exchanges, or NFT standards to launch. So the only thing that was lacking on Bitcoin until now was programmability. But with Bitcoin L2s coming up, which use the security of Bitcoin while providing programmability, of course, everything that was done on Ethereum will be done on Bitcoin. But that's not it. That's not the end game. The end game will be much higher, because Bitcoin provides much more secure environment. The proof of work consensus is the most battle tested and most secure consensus mechanism out there. So Ethereum DeFi will definitely be brought entirely to Bitcoin DeFi, but Bitcoin DeFi won't stop there. Bitcoin DeFi will have much more use cases, much more than Ethereum DeFi, because a lot of institutions that trust Bitcoin more than Ethereum, and Bitcoin has a lot more liquidity as well. So as of today, Bitcoin accounts for around 50% of entire crypto market cap, which is around $1.5 trillion. If you see Ethereum DeFi, the entire DeFi of all non-Bitcoin chains combined is around $200 billion, up from just over $100 billion few months ago, which is also great. But considering that compared to the size of Bitcoin, even if 20% of Bitcoin comes to DeFi, that's $300 billion. So Bitcoin DeFi doesn't just bring an opportunity to bring everything that's done on Ethereum, bring it to Bitcoin, but also scale up DeFi to a potential and reach institutional investors, reach masses at a scale much bigger than Ethereum DeFi could have ever imagined.
With Bitcoin, recently we've seen a lot of hype surrounding ordinals and stamps and like tokenization on Bitcoin. Is Velar incorporating any ordinals or anything like that into the ecosystem?
So naturally they will be incorporated in Velar in future. So how I see Bitcoin is, Bitcoin L1 is like your electronic safe, where you store your valuables. Like if you have an electronic safe, you store cash there, you store documents there. So a lot of activity happening on Bitcoin, like ordinals, BRC20 runes, they're happening on Bitcoin L1, but they lack programmability. So taking the electronic safe example, you use Bitcoin L1 as an electronic safe, where you store your valuables, including Bitcoin, including ordinals, BRC20, and runes. But whenever you want to put it to use, you take it out of the safe and you put it on Bitcoin L2, where you will be able to use it in lending, AMMs, perp dexes, use it as collateral, earn yield on top of it. Of course, it comes with some kind of risk, but whenever you want to use those assets, including Bitcoin ordinals, runes, and BRC20, you will have to bring it out of the electronic safe, out of the Bitcoin L1, and put it on Bitcoin L2s and use it. And whenever you are done with it, you will put it back to Bitcoin L1. So this is how I envision the whole ecosystem working together. So it's not like Bitcoin L1 compared versus Bitcoin L2s. They will work together in a way that Bitcoin L1 will become the cold storage, will become the electronic safe, and Bitcoin L2s will become your checking account, current account, through which all the transactions will happen.
How are you guys managing settling stuff on chain in Bitcoin through the various L2s? Like when stuff happens within the Velar ecosystem, like how does that, like, I guess, finalize on the Bitcoin blockchain?
So the Bitcoin L2s we work with, they manage the finalization of transactions, because it's like Bitcoin L1 is the final cold storage and the settlement layer. On top of it, there are Bitcoin L2s, which provides us programmability, and top of it is the application layer where Velar stands. So Velar kind of stands as the gateway for users, which provides different use cases. But then Bitcoin L2s that we use are the ones that provide us the Bitcoin finality, and they settle the transactions onto Bitcoin L1.
Okay. And in Velar, like you guys have the ability to mint tokens within the Velar ecosystem. How are those tokens different than like ordinals, for instance?
So ordinals, BRC20, runes, they are primarily on Bitcoin L1, while Velar, because it's built on Bitcoin L2, all of these Bitcoin L2s have their own token standard. The same way Ethereum has its own token standard, ERC20, but on top of it, there are L2s on top of Ethereum, like Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon. They have their own token standard. So the token standard on Velar will be the token standard of Bitcoin L2s that are available in the market.
Okay. And those tokens, like if I send one from like Velar on Stacks, they seamlessly go to like the Velar that's on BitLayer or Bob.
Sure. So we have built something called Velar Bridge. So Velar Bridge allows you to seamlessly transfer Velar tokens across different Bitcoin L2s as well as between Ethereum as well. So Velar's native token as of now, even the token which is listed on Bitfinex, is a native ERC20 token. The reason for that is a lot of the Bitcoin L2s that are coming up are EVM compatible Bitcoin L2s. And the reason for that is the infrastructure and the developer base of EVM is just much higher compared to a new virtual machine that you want to kickstart on Bitcoin. Like there is Stacks, which is independent from EVM. That's why we have Velar Bridge, which provides seamless transfers of liquidity and Velar token across different L2s and Ethereum.
Yeah, you said that with the Velar Bridge, it doesn't just go to Bitcoin layer 2s. You can also transfer into the Ethereum ecosystem.
Yes, with Velar Bridge, you can transfer liquidity and Velar token between Ethereum and other Bitcoin L2s and between all Bitcoin L2s.
Okay, so like from that bridge, you can get into the Ethereum ecosystem and then to like any other EVM compatible chain from there, pretty much, right?
Any other EVM compatible Bitcoin L2s.
Can you talk a little bit more about the Perpetual exchange?
Sure. So Velar Artha, the perpetual derivatives exchange that we have built, is a GMX inspired derivatives exchange. So basically, there will be liquidity pools of different tokens that will be available, which we will fetch prices of in real time through oracles, and people will be able to trade using leverage onto the liquidity pools available in the Velar Artha Perp DEX. So what that's not it. The main USP of Velar Artha Perp DEX is that for the first time in history, people will be able to use their native Bitcoin as collateral, and they will and the Bitcoin that they use as collateral, the value of that Bitcoin can be used to trade on different liquidity pools across different tokens available in the market. So this is something like coin margin perp, what we call, or inverse perpetual contract that we call, which was available on which is available on centralized exchanges like Bitfinex. There is also on Bitfinex, there is BitMEX, there is Binance. It was also on FTX with multi-asset collateral, but all of these exchanges are centralized, and you have to give away custody of your Bitcoins. But for the first time in history, people don't have to give out custody of their Bitcoins, but they can hold Bitcoin in their own custody, and they can use Velar Artha Perp DEX and use it as collateral. So this is what makes Velar Artha very interesting and appealing to a lot of institutional holders, a lot of retail Bitcoin holders who don't want to give out custody of their Bitcoins.
What's the trading experience like? Is it like similar to something like Uniswap, or
yes? For
Okay.
now, it is similar to Uniswap, because Velar Artha Perp DEX in the first version is not an order book based Perp DEX. It's a AMM based Perp DEX. So because like I said, the whole Bitcoin ecosystem is still very new, very nascent, and we, like some of the early builders, we are kickstarting the whole liquidity, the whole ecosystem as we speak. So in the first version, it won't be an order book based Perp DEX. It will be a AMM based Perp DEX. So the experience will be like Uniswap, where you will put your collateral and you will be able to basically add one more step where you can choose leverage of your position in it.
Okay. And then aside from, I guess, Velar and Bitcoin, like what other assets are you guys going to have on the exchange?
So there will be a lot of the tokens that are coming up on Bitcoin L2s. We will have that available. But to be honest, of course, we will start with a few tokens that are most traded in the market in general. But eventually, we can add any token or any asset that is readily available to trade in the market, because it's like we fetch prices in real time from oracles available in the market, so we can fetch price of anything in future. So like this might sound a bit far-fetched, and it is far-fetched, but in future we can trade commodities, we can trade stocks, we can also trade any EVM based token, we can trade like different currencies available in the market. So the opportunity is endless. Of course, we'll start somewhere. We'll start small with a few tokens, but the end goal is insane, because the opportunity here is endless.
And will you guys have like wrapped assets, like wrapped Ethereum, for instance?
We don't have that right now, but it is very possible to have, because when you have a wrapped version of Bitcoin, wrapped version of Ethereum or other assets, you need someone to hold custody for it. You need to maintain security and maintain the peg, which as an application layer product, we are not aiming to do it now. So if there is a custodian who does it and creates a wrapped token onto Bitcoin, then we are more than happy to integrate it.
Okay. And as a user, like what does the process look like if I want to like provide liquidity to one of the liquidity pools?
It's actually very seamless. It's same as how you provide liquidity on Uniswap, on Ethereum, or PancakeSwap on Binance Smart Chain. It is exactly the same. So the idea with Velar is to because like I kept saying it again and again, like Bitcoin ecosystem is very new, and the most important thing for us for next 1 year is to hit a critical mass of users, volume, and TVL, and daily and monthly active users, respectively. So the way we do it is by providing a very similar and very easy user experience to already existing DeFi users. There are DeFi users across different chains, and now they get to try the same DeFi experience on Bitcoin. So this is our goal for next 1 year. So the DeFi experience that we have on Bitcoin is very similar, if not exactly same, as Ethereum or any other DeFi ecosystem out there.
What kind of returns like does a user receive if they provide liquidity to the liquidity pools?
So it is open market, so we don't decide the yield, right? I mean, so as the ecosystem progresses, as more and more liquidity comes to Bitcoin ecosystem, the yield will come by itself, so that's why we are creating this suite of products where people who are trading leverage on Velar Artha Perp DEX will have to, the way they'll trade leverage is by borrowing Bitcoin or stable coin on Velar Artha Perp DEX, and this is how they generate, and they pay a small fee for it, and this small fee is what gives yield to lending or liquidity providers in the market. So it's like it will be like a snowball effect, where there will be different products where people will be borrowing assets and paying fees, and there will be different assets where people will be providing liquidity and earning yield. So it's as I said, the ecosystem is still very early, so it's very difficult to determine what exactly the yield might be right now, but as the ecosystem progresses, we'll know better.
Okay. And like the tokens that are within the Velar system, you mentioned that they're like on a Bitcoin layer 2 standard. What is that standard? Is that like an ERC20 compatible token, or is it?
Yeah, so currently we are on two kind of Bitcoin L2s. One is Stacks, which is its own virtual machine and has its own token standard called SIP10.
Okay.
So Velar Dharma AMM was first launched last year on Stacks. So on Stacks, on Velar Dharma AMM, the tokens that we have are SIP10 standard token, which are ERC20 version of Stacks. So people can launch SIP10 token standard. They can provide liquidity and swap different SIP10 token standard tokens on Velar Dharma AMM. The Velar Artha Perp DEX that we launched on BitLayer and Bob, they are EVM compatible. So they are basically BitLayer and Bob standard tokens, but they are exact version of ERC on BitLayer and Bob respectively.
And are you guys like doing any token burn kind of stuff with the Velar token itself?
No, we don't have any plans to burn the Velar tokens, but there are ways, because we generate revenue through different products through transaction fees. So we will have buyback programs in future and other ways to provide benefit of it to the community. But Velar has like 1 billion total supply, max total supply of Velar tokens, and we will not burn it.
Okay. And what is the Velar token used for within the Velar ecosystem? Like I know it's like a multi-use token, but like what are the uses that the token is used for?
So, so I call it, and I have coined this term, utility in progress UIP token. So, Velar is a utility in progress token, where with each version that I mentioned that we develop, which brings new and new products to the market, Velar token's utility only increases with time. So, when we launched Velar Dharma, the utility of Velar token was to was staking, earning yield, like farming. We have a Velar Launchpad as well, where people staking Velar tokens get to participate into Velar Launchpad projects. They get airdrop of projects launching on Velar Launchpad. Apart from it, when Velar Artha PubDex launched, the stakers of Velar token, they get to participate earlier in Velar Artha PubDex. They get to also participate in future airdrop of Velar tokens. They get transaction fee discounts on Velar Artha PubDex. They get to trade on more leverage. And when the future versions and future products come onto Velar, it will only add more utility to Velar token.
Okay. And is the like decision-making process in Velar like taking place through a DAO, or is there like a Velar foundation? Like, how does that work?
We have a Velar foundation currently.
Okay.
Because Velar is also comparatively very new project. A lot of the community reward supply, a lot of the marketing supply for the token is yet to be given out. So right now, the Velar company decisions is taken by the foundation and the board. But in future, we will have a DAO where Velar token holders, it will be a governance DAO, and Velar token will also have a governance utility where Velar token holders will be able to make decisions for the future growth and important decisions of Velar ecosystem.
Okay. And how does staking work right now in Velar?
We haven't launched Velar staking yet. We are about to launch it end of the month. So Velar staking will be basically locking of Velar tokens in our staking contract, which will allow different perks to users, as I mentioned before.
Okay. And then how are you guys managing like smart contracts in the Velar ecosystem? Like, are you guys using Solidity to I guess have like EVM compatible smart contracts for Bob and BitLayer? And then I guess Stacks his own language for smart contracts within Stacks.
Yes, as I said, depends on the Bitcoin layer 2 we are integrating. So of course, for BitLayer and Bob, we use Solidity or any EVM compatible coding language. But for Stacks, because it's its own virtual machine, it uses Clarity, which is a Turing complete smart contract coding language. So we use Clarity for Stacks.
Okay. And I guess like are smart contracts easier to implement in Clarity or more difficult? Like, how does that compare like with Solidity, I guess?
I mean, the business logics are similar. So it's a matter of how quickly you can understand the functions of a new coding language, which is based on our team's experience. Like everybody in our smart contract team is at least 15 to 20 years experience in tech, in fintech, and like 7-8 years at least experienced in blockchain. So so it was easier for them to understand, but like Clarity has its own pros and cons compared to Solidity.
Okay. And then I guess what's the one thing you're most excited about in Velar?
Honestly, the thing I'm most excited about this year is Velar Artha PubDex, because a lot of our investors, a lot of the users who are trading leverage on centralized exchanges, they're looking for a decentralized perpetual trading exchange solution. But until now, there was no scalable solution, because different PubDexes are on different smaller chains, but these chains have very less security budget. So you cannot put over a certain amount of collateral onto those chains. Otherwise, the collateral would become bigger than the security budget of the chain itself, which makes it harder for people to trust. But with Velar Artha PubDex launching with Bitcoin finality, this will not just allow a lot of traders who are trading small amounts, but will also allow institutions for the first time to look into it and to see if they can they can at least try it out, because it all comes down to security, because Velar Artha PubDex is secured by Bitcoin blockchain, which has the highest security budget, and people don't mind using their Bitcoin. if it's first of all in their own custody, and if second, it's secured by the native secured Bitcoin environment and proof of work consensus. So this is what I'm most excited about.
And then, are you guys seeing a lot of interest from institutional traders to trade on a DEX like this?
Yeah, for sure. So Velar has a very comprehensive suite of investors. It's probably one of the highest invested project in Bitcoin ecosystem, and a lot of our investors are professional trading funds. They are hedge funds. They are prop trading desks. So the reason they invested is because they are not just invested in the token; they are invested in the project and the vision. They want to use it as a product. They are our first users. So a lot of people are waiting to see when it goes live on mainnet, and very excited to at least try it out and see where it goes.
And how soon do you guys forecast that it will be live on mainnet?
We are aiming for mainnet in around 2 months from now.
Okay, cool. So you guys got a lot of stuff on the roadmap, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we are moving very fast. Like we have a big team now. We have like 7-8 products coming in next 3 to 4 months.
Okay, cool. So there's the Perpetuals DEX exchange, and then what are some of the other products that are coming in the coming months?
We have AMM that is going to be launched across different Bitcoin L2s. We have the launch on different Bitcoin L2s. We have memestacker.com. It's a small product. It's kind of our gift to the community, where people can come and launch meme tokens on Bitcoin ecosystem and different L2s without learning to code. So this might not be as big for us in terms of generating revenue, but this allows this is about kickstarting the ecosystem. This is about growing the Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem together. So because I've been in Ethereum space before, and a lot of the times people wanted to launch tokens, but they didn't know how to find a trusted Solidity developer, how to audit it, how to make sure the smart contracts are not vulnerable to exploit. So memestacker.com is also very interesting for us, because it allows people to not just launch their token without learning to code, but also like distribute their tokens to different investors, airdroppers, shareholders that they have, or and also like generate liquidity pools automatically on Velar AMM.
That's going to be interesting to see what kind of meme coins come out of the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, I am also very interested in to see what kind of meme tokens come out.
Yeah. Is there anything that I haven't asked you, Mithil, that is important for the audience to know about Velar?
No, I think we covered almost everything, and we should keep some things as a surprise for audience as well.
Okay, amazing. Well, Mithil, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure interviewing you about Velar. It was exciting to learn so much about it.
It's been such a pleasure. Thanks a lot for having me. Let's do it again soon.